Today I want to talk about my new little setup with Erica Synth bassline, LXR02 Zen delay, and I will explain why I moved from my Elektron setup and the advantages and the disadvantages of these machines. Let's go. Yes, as I just said, this video is all about my Erica Synth setup. I will explain the routing and I will explain the way that I'm using it at the moment. This is not a full review. I own these machines since maybe 5 weeks, so that's a pretty short time. And I'm not fully there where I want to be. And I also will explain a little bit and I will talk a little bit about the why I moved away from the Elektron boxes a little bit. Let me start with this point because this is actually very crucial for my decision. I was always a big Elektron fan. If you know my history, I did a lot of videos with the Digitakt, which is still in my closet. It's a little broken, I guess. And I moved to the bigger boxes because they are for performing. They have some features which I really like and I use a lot. And I also like the sound a lot. And I use these boxes still in a lot of contemporary dance performances. Even you don't see them in my videos so often, I still use them a lot. But in other parts of my musical business. But the thing is, as you might know, I'm doing an event every 3 months in my neighborhood here. And I always thought when I was performing that a lot of this spontaneous accidents were lost. So I had some very cool setups with my Elektron gear in Copenhagen, for instance. I was playing some little gigs in Zurich, and people like it so far. Actually, they don't get the idea of this live playing or live production, but still, I always had the feeling that something is missing, and the reason is that the sequences and the patterns that I produce with my Elektron boxes always felt a little bit like Ableton in another hardware box. It felt like I was pre-producing too much. So I was going through my patterns while performing and I was turning some knobs to get them more interesting and to let them evolve, whatever. But still, I wasn't able to create an environment with these boxes that let me spontaneously improvise while I do stuff on the go, on the fly. And I realized that this is something I would really like to do, but it was a little mess because of my studio productions. So my cat is freaking out, sorry. Well, my productions are split in 2 parts. One is my Dawless music, which is something completely different compared to my studio productions. These productions are very rich in textures and they are very dub techno-ish, and I can do that with my Elektron boxes, but it's actually not satisfying me because the reverb and the delay are very limited on these boxes. When you're doing dub techno, if you're doing other ways of other genres of music, this is maybe not a deal breaker for you, but for me it was, and so I try to get my studio productions into the boxes. I try to create music that I do in Ableton with the Elektron boxes too, because I thought I would like to give my audience one experience with one style of music. If I play live or if they see me on Spotify, I wanted this to be one. But I realized at the beginning of this year, I had a gig on my own release party, and I realized that this is not the way to go because simply it's not possible for me. So I decided to split these two projects, and I will have like studio productions in the future, and I will have a Dawless setup in the future, which I want to be improvised. I want to go away from using too many patterns and using too much pre-produced stuff. And that is why I moved away from Elektron, because I tried to do this with my Elektron boxes, but for me the sequencer is not made for it. I know the sequencer very well, but you have to do a lot of menu diving while you're on stage, and that's totally not mine. I want to have a setup that is easy to use. You might think that the XLR is not that best choice for it. I will come to that in a second. But I want gear that I don't have to think about too much on the stage. Otherwise, I will not get into the mood of everything. And that was the reason why I decided to buy some new gear for this. And surprise, surprise, I was at the Super booth in Berlin, and there was an opportunity to check all the manufacturers' booths. Like I was at the Oxy stand, very cool, the Oxy one, but still complicated for live performing. This is for me also more like a studio piece of gear. And I was at some other booths, also Elektron. I'm a little, yeah, okay. And then I went to Erica Synths and I played around with their stuff, and especially the bass line. I knew that from last year. And I thought, yeah, the bass line could be the center of my little setup. And I was also looking for a drum machine. I saw some performances during the Super booth, and there was one from Tune Girl. She really inspired me with her setup. I was looking on it after her performance. She was using a 909 derivative drum machine from Behringer, I think, which was too big. So one of my core requirements is it must be portable, it must have a fresh sound, and it must be affordable. Because I don't have so much money left. That is why I ordered a new TR909 from Behringer, and I ordered a bassline from Behringer, and I also ordered a Zen delay at Thomann, all from Thomann, and I made a post from this. And a friend of mine texted me, and he offered me to sell me these two boxes, the LXR and the bassline, for a very cheap price. It's used stuff, so I sent the Behringer back, which was a good decision because I like the sound of the LXR a lot. And I kept the Zen delay, and there is the Big Sky is at the end of my chain. I will explain the routing a little bit later. That is the reason why I went for the Erica synth, because their sequencers are pretty easy to use. They have some features which makes it very easy to bring in some variations, and I like their workflow. It's very refreshing to me to work with other stuff than just Elektron boxes. As much as I like Elektron, I think it's pretty refreshing to use these machines. And so that's why these three machines are now here. And I will explain a little bit the routing now. All right. So let me quickly check my camera. So my routing is very simple. I have the LXR, which is my drum machine, and it also acts like a synthesizer. I don't know if you know this machine. It is a six-track drum machine and drum synthesizer, which can produce bass sounds and melodic elements as well, which makes it pretty flexible. It has two outputs. I will change my routing soon. I will talk about that in a minute. And this machine goes to my mixer very raw. So there's no compression, there is no effect applied or anything. This is just the pure raw sound. And I have to tell you, I really like this sound. It's very direct and it's very powerful, actually. And then I have the bassline. The bassline is to me not only a bassline machine, it also can do very, very, very good drone sounds. And you know me, I like drone sounds a lot and ambient and stuff. So the bassline is routed to the Zen delay, which is also a little bit like a separate instrument. And then the Zen delay is routed to the Big Sky reverb. And from there it goes to the mixer. So right now I have two different inputs to my mixer. I will add a new pedal which I ordered from a Swiss guy. This pedal is titled or called the Pill. The Pill is it's a ducking pedal. It only does ducking, but very well. And this I will add to my bassline chain at the end to get the whole sound a little bit more powerful and a little bit more pumpy. That will arrive in August, I think. So I'm pretty excited about that. And yeah, these boxes are everything I take on my travels. The advantage is they are. Let's talk about some advantages of these boxes. They are very light. They are very stable. They are made of metal. And I also like their design. The black design is really nice. And especially the bassline has only one feature per knob, which is totally my style of making music. Sure, you have some buttons that you can use for creating sequences and stuff. But the sound is mangled only with these knobs, and the knobs are very, very good in your hands. So this is a very big advantage. I can take it everywhere I want. That's very good benefit from it. I can take, let's say, the LXR to traveling, and it's just a little box. It's much easier, like these bigger Elektron boxes, honestly. And a big advantage is also that they play together very well. So these are the advantages. There's one big disadvantage, and it just happened to me when I recorded the last jam. I don't know what happened. I've chosen a new pattern in my bank, and suddenly the machine stops playing. I was in contact with Erica Synth support. They have a very good support and they are very reactive. Another big benefit for them, for me, a plus for them. But still, it appears occasionally. I don't know if this is like a saving mistake. Tune Girl told me that she also started with LXR, but she didn't use it anymore. I don't know if she sold it or not because she had problems with savings projects. And I have the feeling I have the same issue. Sometimes patterns randomly stop playing, and after some seconds they continue playing. And this is for live performing is really a no-go. Luckily, it didn't happen to me during my first set last week. But still, this is really something very, very uncool. Another uncool thing is what I can tell you right now, but I have to also say that I have to exercise these machines much more so I know them inside out. And this is not the case yet. But the LXR has so many features that it can be very tricky to mangle the sound during a performance if you are using more than one machine. I've seen some performances on YouTube only with the LXR, and they are very nice. They mangle the sound and then they reload and everything. They filter some of the tracks at the same time by switching them very quickly. But if you're using another machine like the bassline and you're busy with two machines, this can be a really challenge to get these tracks on the LXR modulated. You have a couple of LFOs, sure, that you can apply to your tracks. You have 6 LFOs that you can use on one track, or you can spread them on all the 6 tracks. but still it's a challenge and I'm still not there. That's a big disadvantage. And another disadvantage for me is, after playing my first track, are the labels. The labels are not lit, so you see that the buttons are lit, but it's very hard for me. Maybe it's because I'm getting old. I can't read these in the dark, and it's pretty like a trial and error, which is the right one, because there is no real indicator. There are some white under surroundings here, but this is not really helpful. So maybe this is just I have to get used to it. This is a really downside, is the many options of this one. I'm not sure if this is going to be the drum machine that I was hoping for, in terms of I want to play improvised stuff on stage, because right now I'm using it with pre-made patterns only, simply because it's too complicated for me to get this on the fly. For the bass line, it's a little different. It's very handy to change the length of the pattern, so you have some Euclidean stuff going on. You have some rhythm generators, which I didn't use in the previous performance. And you have the possibility to randomize some parameters, which you can configure, and the thresholds you can configure, so you don't get too much random stuff. You can reload the pattern, which is pretty handy if you're mangling stuff, and then you can just reload the entire pattern. You have an arpeggiation, you have a scale, and the transpose feature, and these are very handy. You have different play modes. You can play the pattern forward or backward, or forward and backward, or randomly. For now, I don't use these features too much, because I simply have still to focus on the machine itself. I'm sure if I'm going to get deeper into these, I will use these features on the fly, and then it will start to get interesting for me, and then I will be able to do these improvised performances, which I'm not there right now. So yeah, now you know some where I am. Now you know why I have changed this setup, and it's handy. It's in a backpack. Yeah, I think it's only 3 kilograms or something, compared to 8 kilograms of my Elektron boxes. And I'm looking forward to play my next set in Hanover in 2 weeks. So I have still some time left to exercise a little bit. And yeah, I'm pretty happy. It's super refreshing. The sounds are really powerful. I have a nice effect chain. Sometimes I use different patterns on the big sky. Sometimes I switch it off, or I create some swashes with a big sky reverb. So very, very handy. Let me know what you think about these machines. I'm super curious. Maybe some of you had this issue that I was talking about as well. Let me know in the comments below. If you have questions, I will answer them. And yes, if you want to see this in action, I'm gonna link something in the corner up there. And yeah, subscribe to my channel, and see you soon.